Good morning. Welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Hamilton. My name is Pat Dickinson, and I will be your service leader this morning. The sermon this morning will be presented by Reverend Victoria. Tim Vierstieg will read the story for all ages. Our music will be provided by Cindy Carey, Rachel Derry, and the First Unitarian Zoom Choir. And our tech team this morning is John Elliott, Bruce McPherson, and Nancy Wilson. We acknowledge that we are not the first people to inhabit the land on which we are currently located. It was on the traditional territories of the Mississauga and the Haudenosaunee nations, and within the lands protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. We are grateful that those who came before us were respectful stewards of this land, honoring our seventh principle of the interdependent web of all existence. And we now seek to be equally respectful stewards of this place for all those who follow. Our goal in this congregation is to extend our hearts and welcome to all who join us in worship, whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are in your search for truth and meaning. We are connected through our desire to live out our goals of peace, justice, and love for all. And we are here to love one another and encourage each other in our spiritual growth. Our Congregational's mission includes a commitment to nurture one another, serve the community, and inspire action that heals the world. Our opening and chalice lighting words this morning are by Amy Carol Webb. We light this flame for the art of sacred unknowing, humbled by all that we cannot fathom in this time. We come into the presence of what we do know, perhaps the only thing we can ever know, that love is now and forever the only answer to everything and everyone in every time. Please join me now in our unison chalice lighting words. May this flame be our light of friendship and love.
Number 318, We Would Be One. We would be one, as now we join in singing our hymn of love, to pledge ourselves anew to
Our story today is part of our 7 teaching stories written by Métis author Katharina Vermette and illustrated by our Irene Kazoo. And here it is. It's called Singing Sisters, A Story of Humility. M'Ingen is a very good singer. She can sing high and she can sing low. She can sing in the car. She can sing to her aunties. They love to hear her sing. They tell her she is amazing. M'Ingen's little sister wants to sing too. She tries to sing high. She tries to sing low. She tries to sing in the car. M'Ingen is not happy. She doesn't want her sister to sing too. She tells her sister, "You can't sing like me. You can't sing high. You can't sing low. You shouldn't sing in the car. You shouldn't sing to our aunties." These words make her little sister very sad, and she starts to cry. Mama tells M'Ingen, "You can both be singers, my girl. Just because your sister is good doesn't mean you're not. You can share." M'Ingen thinks about this. She likes to share. She knows sharing makes everyone feel happy, and she is very good at helping people feel happy. She looks at her sister and sees her sad face. She doesn't like it when her sister cries and doesn't want her to be sad. So she decides to help her sister. She helps her sing high. She helps her sing low. She helps her sing in the car. Then they both sing for their aunties, and their aunties tell them they are amazing. And that's the end of our story today.
Hi, everybody. We thought you might want to have a look at the church now that there's been so much work done on it. Thanks to Sue Stewart Green and John Green, whose tireless efforts, and also I should mention a few other folks like Joanne and Al Tunnicliffe and Bruce McPherson, who also put incredible amounts of work, as well as a number of volunteers who came in and helped move clutter and all sorts of things into a dumpster we had outside for a long while. But the biggest change you will notice when you walk in the doors is the floor. Patrick is showing you the floor right now. The entire flooring has been redone. Also, all the walls were painted. They're looking great. It's a very clean look. As I say, we removed a number of things that were perhaps not used here for a long time, and generally speaking, it's going to be a different looking place by the time everybody's back with us. Hopefully sooner rather than later. I mean, we keep hoping, but you know, the vaccines are at least being administered now, so we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. So this is essentially what's happened in the fellowship hall. We're still obviously putting things back into the way it was. I'm just going to take you up.
Oh, I'm circling first.
To the loft, just so you can have a look at what's going on in there. Not a lot of changes up here. But the drummers have moved their location of their drums up here so that they don't take up as much room in Fellowship Hall. And it's getting ready for things to be rehung and for hopefully some youth to be in here come September. Now we'll just have a look in the rainbow room. Petra and I spent a lot of time in here last week replacing everything. As you can see, it's a lot less cluttered than it once was. We moved a bunch of stuff around. We also have moved our CYRE library in here. So once we're all back together, I'm hoping that parents will be able to use our books more easily than when they were just stashed in my office. And it will also give us a number of extra things to be able to read to the infants and kids when they're in here on Sunday mornings. All right, let's keep going. Make sure we turn off the lights behind us. Not many changes in the kitchen, apart from the floors or the other rooms. We'll just say hi to Victoria.
Hello.
We're doing our walk around Victoria.
It's good to see you.
Showing what everything looks like.
Checking out all of the goodies and the new stuff.
Yep.
It looks beautiful. Have fun. Good to
Okay.
see you.
And finally, we'll just have a quick look in the sanctuary, although again, the sanctuary hasn't been totally put back together, but you notice the changes that have occurred in here. There's been a fairly wide redistribution of where things are, so our worship materials wall is now over on the side rather than the back wall. We've condensed a bit of our hymnals there. As well, some of the artwork is going to be replaced and moved around a little bit. We have our new screening system for when we come back. There's screens on both sides, one over here as well. And as we've mentioned, we'll have the ability to live stream once we're back all together. Apart from that, as you can see, the chairs are all just kind of stacked at the moment, waiting to be re-put back into place once we know what our capacity is going to be and when it's going to be and how it's going to be. But generally speaking, that's where the church is at this point. So we're all looking forward to seeing you back here September or sooner. We'll see what happens with the way the vaccines roll out, and hope you enjoyed a little walk around your church.
My thanks to, thumbs up. My thanks to Tim and Petra for making that happen so you could get an idea of what's going on, but also get a chance to see church when we can't be here. So with that vision in your minds, I invite you to relax and be comfortable, and let's spend a few moments in contemplation or prayer. This morning's words are from Mother Teresa. Love cannot remain by itself. It has no meaning. Love has to be put into action, and that action is service. Whatever form we are, able or disabled, rich or poor, it is not how much we do, but how much love we put into the doing. A lifelong sharing of love with others.
May I share love through action and receive love with grace. May I taste the sweetness in every breath and rejoice in the dance each day. May I share love through action and receive love with grace. May I taste the sweetness of every breath and rejoice in the dance each day. May I share love through action and receive love with grace. May I taste the sweetness of every breath and rejoice in the dance each day. May I share love through action and receive love with grace. May I taste the sweetness in every breath and rejoice in the dance each day. May I share love through receive love with grace. May I taste the sweetness in every breath and rejoice in the dance each day.
As the days and the months pile up in this COVID alternative reality that we live within, it sometimes seems that it's getting harder and harder to remember that we are actually part of a larger community that includes more than our immediate bubble. Weeks spent in lockdown, months spent in social distancing, a year plus into having no communal events available in which to participate, our primary contacts being made by phone or computer, it isn't hard to understand that we might be experiencing a growing sense of disconnect and isolation. There are moments when our hearts and bodies yearn for the company of others. We long to be able to share a laugh or a hug or simply sit within the sphere of another's energy over a cup of tea or a glass of beer. I don't have to tell you how different our lives have become because you experience it every day, as I do. Our disconnection reminds us of how much we need to connect. So it is a gift that we have the resource of Zoom and other social platforms that are available for us so we can share time, and yet we know it isn't the same as a face-to-face interaction. You can watch movies at home, but it's not like going to a theater and seeing things on the big screen with a bunch of strangers around you, laughing at the things you think are funny and sharing in the pathos when it's not so pretty. A virtual art crawl lacks the energy and pulse of a crowd. We're here together for worship, but it's not like being in the sanctuary on a Sunday morning, I know. Our UU seventh principle reminds us that we are part of the interdependent web of all existence, and intellectually, we know that's true. It's just that the connections we know are harder to maintain and reinforce when we aren't in constant interaction with them. Whether it's the trees and the animals or the people that we love and care about, the water, the earth. And there's an important word in that principle, interdependent. Yes, we are dependent on being in relationship with the people and the world around us. We are not little islands unto ourselves. And we suffer when we cannot be in those relationships in the ways that support and nurture us on a regular basis. In the teachings of the Buddha, we are reminded that we are really never by ourselves. We are always in relationship with our families, in society, within our culture. We are constantly in interactions with others, and therefore our happiness depends on their happiness. Astrophysicist Trin Sheyun Tuen says, how can we be happy if we are the only one who is happy, an island of happiness in an ocean of misery? Of course, that is not possible. To become enlightened to the true experience of our connections with others, the Buddha encourages us to learn how to shift how we see ourselves, moving from misunderstanding ourselves as the center of our thoughts and feelings, and recognizing that we are but one among many with thoughts and feelings. He asks us to confront the fire of desire and craving that exists within, to get that impulse under control because it leads us to unhappiness and discomfort. When we quiet and control the mind's focus on self, we experience our interconnectedness. When we harness our own yearnings, we create space truly relating to others. This shift takes us from a sense of fundamental egotism to a place of compassion, where we can experience not only our own suffering and discomfort, but that of others as well. It's then that we begin to see how one thing passes into another, how everyone is connected to everyone else, and how we can express compassion and caring for one another. It's this understanding of compassion that led the Buddha to send his followers out into the community in service. They were charged with sharing the Buddha's teachings and showing compassion for the suffering and discomfort of the people that they encountered. The Buddha said that hearing his teachings would allow people to gain liberation. And when they understood the nature of their own suffering, they would be able to feel compassion for the suffering of others and understand their relationship more fully with all of existence. And this leads us again and again to a place of humble service. Buddhist monks live on the charity and kindness of others by serving them and sharing with them. They know that they are dependent on the community for their well-being and sustenance. If they're not serving the community and offering something useful or helpful to the community, then the community will not provide them with food or care or shelter. The two are dependent on one another. Without service to and from one another, there is no community. Now, I know each of us may not feel called to become a Buddhist monk or nun, but these lessons apply to all of us. To live in community, to create a harmonious and happy life for all, we must be able to experience our interconnectedness and feel compassion. We must see ourselves as being in service to one another as we go about living our lives. The Buddha goes on to tell us that there are 3 poisons that hinder compassion and seeing ourselves as humble servants in the larger community. Those 3 poisons are greed, anger, and ignorance. The flip sides of these poisons are generosity, compassion, and wisdom. If you consider the situations that cause us pain and suffering in our world, their roots can be traced to these poisons: the desire for more money or resources or power, the fanning of rage and hostility and separateness, the willful embrace of the knowledge of the truth and choosing to remain oblivious. Each of them is based in the misguided thinking of our own ego, which places us at the center of the universe instead of remembering that we are one among many. Suffering is happening now, and our avenues for providing humble service are limited by some of the things that we do to ensure safety. We can't volunteer in the ways that we used to. We can't use the public forum for protest and advocacy in the visible ways that we have in the past. We're limited in the ways we can be in community and in contact with one another. In this time, we have to be creative in finding ways to still be of service, to still be compassionate and engaged in helping our human beings while remaining safe. Now, eventually, the pandemic will end. As yet, we don't know when that will be or how it's going to happen. But one thing does seem very certain about that reality to me. At that time, there will be a great deal of suffering and discomfort in the world. There will be a need for compassion and caring, for serving one another as we rebuild our connections, shape our society, and reformulate our communities. At that time, as in all times, the Buddha's teachings will be important. We will need to be able to confront our own desires and manage them effectively. As a community, we will need to confront our greed and anger and ignorance to make sure that the interconnected web of all existence is honored, included, and cared for. As individuals, we will confront the truth that we cannot do it all, but that we can show up and be available to do what we can for the whole of the world, or at least our little part in it. We can talk and share and listen from a place of compassion, to ensure that we provide the service and support that people will need as opposed to what we think they deserve or should have. And we can remember that there is no small service, but that all service done with humility is worthy and dignified and accomplishes something important. We can remember that all things done with love have meaning and impact. We can be a witness and a voice for those who are vulnerable, afraid, discounted, or rejected. We can choose to act from compassion, wisdom, and generosity. I leave you and close my words today with this blessing from Lama Surya Das. May all beings everywhere with whom we are inseparably interconnected be fulfilled, awakened, liberated, and free. May there be peace in this world and throughout the entire universe, and may we all together complete the spiritual journey.
Number 131, Love Will Guide Us. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
Our closing words are by Dorothy Height. Without community service, we would not have a strong quality of life. It's as important to the person who serves as it is to the recipient. It's the way in which we ourselves grow and develop. Please listen now to our postlude, Healing Waters.